Captain Francis Madison Grimm, Commander, AMS Predator, strode down the length of the deck, doing what an airship's captain all too often found a necessary duty, waiting calmly. The ship's crew had gone to general quarters in pre-dawn, nearly 8 hours before, with breaks for no more than 2 men at a time, and those only for biological necessity. Mists hovered thickly over the ship, for it was barely more than 1,000 feet above the lithosphere, that elevation where the growing things of the hellish surface world reached out branches, tendrils, and various other structures that could threaten the ship's physical integrity. Grimm could scarcely see from one end of Predator to the other, much less what might be happening to the armed away team of the Spirarch's guard currently deployed to the colony spire below. Grimm climbed the steep ladder to the bridge and strode over to where the ship's pilot, Mr. Kettle, leaned easily back against the pilot's brace, his wrists draped over the ship's steering grips, fingers hanging loosely. He was relaxed, despite the hours of waiting. Kettle was a brawny, bearded veteran aeronaut. The skin around his eyes was permanently a bit lighter than the rest of his face, where his goggles had shielded him from the glare of the light of the open sky far above. His forearms looked like ham hocks, and he wore his fleece-lined cold-weather aeronaut's coat unbuttoned and open in the warmth at this altitude. Sweat had run tracks down his face and neck. "Skip," Kettle drawled easily as Grimm approached. "We should have seen or heard something from the team by now." In response, Grimm calmly, deliberately removed his pocket watch from where it resided in his waistcoat, and he consulted its face before polishing it, closing it, and returning it to its pocket. "They're barely outside the mission window, Mr. Kettle," Grimm said. "I think we shall not wail and gnash our teeth quite yet." "Aye, Skip," Kettle replied. "But begging the captain's pardon, I'd be happier if Sir Benedict had sent up a rocket by now." "I'm sure if Sir Benedict had need of us, he would have done so," Grimm replied. "Meanwhile, I'll not leave us sitting fat and happy on an unguarded docking platform. Any Auroran who ran a patrol past it would blow us to splinters." "If they could see us in this soup," Kettle growled. A boarding axe, his weapon of choice in most ship actions, hung from a loop on his belt, and on his left hand he wore a gauntlet, a cage of copper wire wrapped around a heavy leather bracer and connected by straps and wires to the heavy leather strap that held the weapons crystal against his palm. "If the enemy comes close enough to see us in this, we'll be biting one another's noses off before anyone can aim a cannon." There was a sudden hiss, followed by a swift trilling sound that seemed to embrace a rapid series of sharp clicks in its volume. Something flashed by in the mist off the ship's prow, a lean, sleek mass, almost 5 yards long, supported by an impossibly fine-looking webwork of glittering wings. Its body trailed a pair of long, fine talons beneath it. Kettle's breath exploded out of him in a huff of surprise, and his gauntlet came up so he could track the creature's path as it glided by through the mist, and was gone. Other trills echoed those of the first creature, somewhere out of sight, hauntingly sourceless in the endless grey. "That's the 4th time that one's come by," Kettle said, his voice pitched low, "and I've seen 6 more. One of them even bigger. Skip, if we're down this low when it gets dark, we'll lose 12 men to mist sharks." "We'll be back in the aerosphere in time to see the sunset," Grimm assured him. "Exo to the bridge, if you please, Mr. Kettle." "Aye, sir," Kettle replied firmly. He leaned over to one side to swing a copper-clad speaking tube to within range of his mouth so that he could bawl, "First officer to the bridge."